Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 10 and my name is Siti Maimuna and my partner.
I'm Nabila Amanda.
I am Rehan Ramadan Tarigan.
Muhammad Fikri Putra, and we will present our material about assessment in language learning.
Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Today we will discuss about assessment in language learning. Before we start the presentation, let's meet the group. We are from Group 10 and the group consists 4 members. The first one is me, Nabila Amanda, and my friends Raihan Ramadan, Muhammad Fikri Indika, and Siti Maimuna. Before we get into the discussion, I'd like to give you a brief outline of our presentation. The first one is what is assessment. The second is types of language assessment. The third is assessment method and tools. Next is validity and reliability, assessment for different language skills, and feedback in language assessment. So, let's start with the first material. What is assessment? Assessment refers to the process of gathering information and evaluating the knowledge, skills, abilities, and competencies of individuals. In the context of language learning, assessment is used to measure a learner's language proficiency, progress, and achievement. It provides valuable feedback to both learners and educators, informing instructional decision, curriculum development, and learning outcomes. Assessment is perhaps one of the most difficult and important parts of our jobs as teachers. Ideally, it should be seen as a means to help us guide students on their road to learning. For the next material, types of language learning will be delivered by Fikri Indika. For Dika, time is yours.
Yeah, thank you. And right now, I want to explain the type of assessment. The first is proficiency. This assessment measures learners' overall language ability. They are designed to evaluate learners' competence in various language skills such as reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Proficiency tests often use standardized scale or frameworks to classify learners' language proficiency levels, such as the Common European Framework of Reference (CEFR) or the ACTFL Proficiency Guidelines. And next is achievement. These assessments focus on evaluating learners' knowledge of specific language skills or content. Achievement tests typically cover a particular curriculum or set of learning objectives and assessment learners' understanding and mastery of the material. Examples of achievement tests include unit tests, chapter tests, and of course, exams. And next is diagnostic. Diagnostic tests are used to identify learners' specific strengths and weaknesses in language learning. These assessments help teachers or instructors gain insight into learners' area of need and tailor instruction accordingly. Diagnostic tests can cover various language skills or focus on particular areas, such as grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. And next is formative. Formative assessments are ongoing assessments that monitor learners' progress and provide feedback throughout the learning process. These assessments aim to identify learners' understanding, address misconception, and guide instruction. Formative assessments can take various forms such as quizzes, assignments, classroom activities, or observation. They play a crucial role in informing instructional decisions and supporting learners' continuous development. And the last is summative. Summative assessments are typically administered at the end of the course, term, or unit to evaluate learners' overall performance. These assessments provide a comprehensive summary of learners' achievement and determine their level of proficiency or mastery of the language. Examples of summative assessments include final exams, standardized tests, or performance evaluation. We move to the next material is assessment method and tools. The first is written assessment. There is like a multiple choice. The learners select the correct answer from a set of options and fill in the blanks. The learners complete sentences or text by filling in the missing words. And short answer, the learners provide brief written responses to questions or prompts. And last is essays. The learners write a longer, structured response to demonstrate their understanding. For the oral assessment, there is interviews, the one-on-one conversation between the assessor and the learner. And the presentations, like the learners deliver prepared speeches or presentations on a given topic. The role plays, learners engage in simulated real-life conversations or scenarios. And the oral exams, formal assessments where the learners respond to oral questions or prompts. And there's a performance-based assessment that's like a project-based test. Learners complete a task or project that showcase their language skills. There is a simulations. The learners participate in simulated real-world situations and interact using the target language. And there is a group discussions. The learners engage in structured discussions with their peers or on specific topics. And for the online assessments, there is a computer-based test. Assessment delivered through digital platforms with various questions formats. And there is the online quizzes, the interactive assessments with the immediate feedback and scoring. And the last is language learning apps. Apps that incorporate assessments within their learning modules. And for the tools is there are portfolios. The learners compile samples of their work, including written assessment, audio or video recordings, and self-reflections. And portfolios provide a holistic view of learners' progress over time and allow for self-assessment. And there are the rubrics. Rubrics provide criteria for assessing learners' performance across different language skills. They offer standardized framework to evaluate learners' work consistently and provide feedback. And the last is the language proficiency test. Commonly used proficiency tests include the TOEFL, IELTS, and Cambridge English exams. These standardized tests measure learners' language proficiency levels and are widely recognized. And that's all the material for me. The next material will be delivered by Raihan.
Thank you for the explanation of the material, and now I will explain the next material is about validity and reliability. Validity refers to the extent to which an assessment measures what it is intended to measure. In language learning assessment, it is crucial that the assessment tasks align with the learning objectives and accurately reflect the specific language skills or constructs being targeted, while reliability refers to the consistency, stability, and precision of an assessment. A reliability assessment should yield consistent results when administered to the same individuals or groups under similar conditions. There are four things validity There are four things on validity. The first one is content validity. Content validity ensures that assessment tasks cover representative language skills or knowledge. Tasks should sample the content domain, include relevant topics, language forms, and communication context. And the second one is construct validity. Construct validity examines if assessment tasks effectively measure targeted language constructs or abilities. It aligns with theoretical frameworks and language learning theories. And the third one is criterion-related validity. Criterion-related validity assesses how well assessment results correlate with external criteria or valid language proficiency measures. It involves comparing scores with established tests. And the last one is concurrent validity. Concurrent validity examines agreement between results of assessment being developed and a pre-existing validated assessment measuring the same constructs. Then next, there are three things in reliability. The first one is inter-rater reliability. Iterator reliability ensures consistent evaluation by different assessors. It is crucial in subjective assessments like speaking and writing. Training assessors using clear rubrics and calibration enhance reliability. And the second one is test-retest reliability. Test-retest reliability assesses consistency over time. A reliable assessment yields similar scores on repeated administrations, indicating stability. And the last one is internal consistency. Internal consistency measures item consistency within an assessment. Cronbach's alpha is used for tests with multiple items or tasks. For the next material is about assessment for different language skills. I will explain the tasks given for the 4 language skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The first one is listening assessment. Listening assessment measures a learner's comprehensions of spoken language. Tasks include listening to audio and answering questions. It can involve multiple choice, gut feeling, note taking, and summarizing. And the second one is reading assessment. Evaluates comprehensions of written tasks. Tasks include comprehensions, exercise, vocabulary matching, true or false statements, and multiple choices questions. Methods also assess reading speed, details, and contextual meaning. And the third one is speaking assessment. Speaking assessment evaluates communication skills in the target language. It assesses pronunciation, fluency, vocabulary, grammar, and overall competence. Tasks include presentations, role plays, interviews, conversations, and responding to prompts. And the last one is writing assessment. Focuses on assessing in learners' ability to produce writing tasks in the target language. It includes evaluating aspects such as grammar, vocabulary usage, coherence, cohesions, and organizations. Writing assessment tasks can involve writing essays, summaries, emails, letters, or reports. Assessments may also include evaluating sentence structure, punctuations, spelling, and overall language proficiency. Thank you. And for the next material will be delivered by Siti Maimuna.
Okay, thank you, Rehan. And next matter about factors when assessing language skill. And number 1, authenticity. The assessing tasks should resemble real-life language use as much as possible. Reflecting the type of activities learners are likely to encounter outside the classroom. Number 2, validity. The assessment task should align with the learning objective and make sure what they intend to assess. They should accurately reflect the specific language skill being targeted. Number 3, reliability. The assessments should be consistent and product reliability result. Multiple raters or assessment method can be employed to enhance reliability. Number 4, feedback and learner engagement. Assessments should provide constructive feedback that help learners identify areas for improvement and encourages them to actively engage in the learning process. And next material, feedback in language assessment. Number 1, timely feedback. Given promptly to allow learners to reflect on their performance. Providing timeline feedback is crucial in language assessment. When feedback is given properly, learners have a fresh memory of their performance, allowing them to reflect on their strengths and area for improvement, while the experience is file vivid. Timely feedback helps learners connect their performance to the assessment criteria and understand how they can enhance their language skills. Number two, specific feedback. Focus on strengths, area for improvement, and next step. Specific feedback is the task and target, addressing specific aspect of learner's performance. It highlight their strengths and acknowledging what they did well and identify area for improvement. By focus on specific area, learners gain a clear understanding of their strengths and weaknesses, enabling them to work toward enhance their language skill effectively. Additionally, specific feedback should also provide later on the next steps. Learners can textbook further developing their language ability. Number three, formative feedback. Grades learners ongoing learning and development. Formative feedback is an integral part of the learning process. It is designed to with learners, ongoing development and improving support throughout their language learning journey. This type of feedback is provided during the learning process and helps learners understand their progress, identify gaps in their knowledge, and make necessary adjustment. Formative feedback promotes continuous improvement as learning reflects weakness and support to enhance their language skill over time. Number four, constructive feedback. Constructive feedback is aimed at motivating and encouraging learners while offering actionable suggestions for improvement. It creates a positive learning environment where learn feel support and empowered to enhance their language skill. Constructive feedback emphasizes the area where learning can grow and provide specific suggestions or strategies for improvement. By focusing on constructive feedback, learners are more likely to engage in self-reflection and take the necessary steps to progress in their language learning journey. And number five, opportunities for self-reflection allows learners to assess their own progress and set goals. Self-reflection is a valuable tools in language learning. And assessment provides an opportunity for learning to engage in this process by incorporating opportunities for self-reflection. Learners can assess their own progress, identify their strengths and weaknesses, and set goals for their linguistic development. Self-reflection encourages learners to take ownership of their learning journey and promise meta-cognitive skill, enabling them to become more independent and effective language learners. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dadah.